Alright, this is the third of the set. It's Keep Out by Mr. Tadpole. Again, an amazing alias, Mr. Tadpole. I already like you. That's so cute. Um, Using Dear Onion as music by Lipeth from the way it did. This is a very good song to use for this kind of tricksy map. I enjoyed playing it. I also want to outline the usage of texture here. We've got one gray wall, we've got the other brick wall with the light on it. I'm not that familiar with the textures that I can just call them out by name. I do know though that trying to come up with creative ways to use the torch wall texture is a bit of a pain, and I think Tadpole, Mr. Tadpole, has done a very good job of using the few textures that he has in very interesting ways. Um, let's start by cheating with Supercharge, by shooting super fast, and see what the first room is telling us. It's telling us this is a secret somehow. I enjoy his secrets, so don't take it as a criticism. Thank you very much for the armor. So, there's another element I think to this map, if memory serves. There is the sigil shooting trick. We learn later in the map that shooting these opens things up, I think. Oh, no, now I understand. By killing those folk here, I shot in the middle, and that opened up the secret. So it's not that easy of a secret, it's just easy to open. So that's very interesting by Mr. Tadpole, because he's saying, if you notice that, you're like, oh, so I should be shooting these. So you know from the very, very first room. And if you didn't notice, you go like, oh, that's a very easy secret. I wonder what that is up. And then you play the rest of the level and you realize these are shootables, or the walls behind them are in any case. And you come back and you get that extra armor if you need to. So already, like, interesting level of sophistication and complexity by the map maker. The gruesome hanging corpses, though, Mr. Tadpole, why? The dead Mussolini, like, I can't cope with that shit. I know that we're playing Doom for 30 years, but somehow these props, these sorts of props in Doom, are of a different, like, fidelity to the rest, and they always creep me out. In any case, there's another... Oh yeah, we've got some hidden enemies. Interesting also check out like the cuts in the rooms, making very basic like shapes a little bit more interesting visually by indentation and extrusion and beveling and all those things that architects spend a lot of time thinking about, and Doom mappers should as well. So we're like, health. That's an interesting way to show what's in the room without carving like windows, just like squeezing through. Who are you? Screaming at me. See, talking about door fighting, we know that he's here, but shooting like this is disadvantageous, it's going to waste a lot of time, so I'm inclined to enter and kind of like take him on in his space. So that's a good way to kind of like incentivize people from moving into the room to face a threat, like put it in a direction where you kind of see it, you know what it is, but you shouldn't just sit here and try to do this all day. Now we know that we can shoot these, but shoot it from where? Can I do this? Alright. We keep playing the sigil game. Hey, calm down. Perfectly placed health for the idiots. I am the idiot. Don't worry. Don't wanna insult anybody else. Insulting yourself is free, right? Tomatoes in small corridors. Yep. See, that's so cheeky though. I want to talk about the timing of that door closing behind me and the enemies coming. Like, there's an element of comedic timing to getting those things right in Boom or in any like any Doom format. So very well done, like doop, and then enemies. When you do it right, it feels whimsical, and of course lethal, potentially lethal. That opens the door again. We got a blue key for our trouble, I think. I can't see the icon because the overlay is hiding that spot, but I see some blue, yeah. So where was the... No, it's not a difficult map. I shouldn't be using the auto map for this. So now our desires are fulfilled. We saw this, we can get through, and we notice, there's more to this than health. It's probably gonna be a little maze. Mussolini's. And using supercharge for fun, doing the weapon switches, why not? Now, okay. Do you see this texture, which is basically the same texture with the lamp on it, or the torch, whatever, just used in a different way to make a solid wall. Cool stuff. Very creative use of the limitations. Not much to say. This is like a Doom 1 style Tadpole corridor. Not corridor, like a little maze with lots of meat in it to shoot through. And we get a key for our trouble. There's something else extra here if memory serves. More armor. There's no more secrets in the map, so perhaps there's no point for me to be shooting at every little altar. But, you know, you teach me something, and like a good monkey, I will do as instructed. See? I can't stop myself. Okay, that's covered. Pac-Man has to go through, get all the pellets. And that's the second key. If anything, one could say that this is a bit of an easy map, but we are on map 3, so I really appreciate it. It's more like getting the hang of... I know nobody coordinated, but I guess the person putting it all together had a good thought about it. Like, concepts are getting explored and taught to the player, even though the maps are not that difficult in the early on maps. Like how textures are going to be used, that people are going to be doing different like gameplay tricks, even just to get over the fact that there are no switches. People have done very interesting tricks in this set. So those things take a little bit of brain space to kind of grok, and you don't need to be fighting for your life while you're, like, not too heavily at least, while you're trying to grok the concepts. And a little bit of I appreciate this a lot. After all the like very tight corridor stuff, we get a little bit of a courtyard, the correct sky for this thing, and we will have a little bit of a fight. This is the only potentially dangerous bit, I think. And it suits it because we just went from all the corridor crawling stuff that is kind of like contained and easy to more open, as we said, more open space, and that's where you give me the encounter that could kick my ass. So playfulness, again, seems to be like the order of the day with this one. And I think that's kind of... this is where you could return and be like, hey, hold on, I can shoot these. Get the extra armor. some door fighting here, but I mean, it's fine. And 9 enemies left. This will open up later. I have rockets. Just enough. Props, and behind the props, the thing to shoot. Ooh, hold up. Ah, my bad, friend. Didn't mean to do that, but it makes for an interesting end to the level, like to kind of like stumble through the exit, kind of startled. That's a very nice Trixie themed level. I very much appreciated it. I enjoyed playing it both the first time and the second time. Sorry for not 100%ing, but I don't think that's the point anyway. The point is to discuss the experience. I don't have any criticism. I learned a lot from like how to teach people things with subtle texture usage, and I guess the only concern I have is like I don't love the maze, but that's a taste thing. Other people like the mazes, and that's like corridor crawling is part of the Doom DNA, even going as back as when the game was early on conceptualized as an aliens kind of game, like that horror feeling of being in low light in a very constrained environment, not knowing what's around the corner, and also pinkies are well used in corridors like that. I'm not gonna knock it. It's just not my favorite to check my auto map every second because I already do that. Like my sense of space and direction is shot if I even ever had one. So it just makes me if we had like aliens, if we had a little auto map in the corner like Alien versus Predator or something, then those bits would be more in line with like the authenticity of the experience. But just swapping back and forth between gameplay and checking my auto map has an immersion hit. That aside though, Keep Out is cool. Thank you for making the map. On to the next one.